Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shri R.M. Jain Group of Schools welcome you to our online learning initiative. Class 12 Economics. Derivation of savings curve and consumption curve. Y, that is income, is equal to consumption plus saving, that is C plus S. Consumption and saving are complementary curves as they together make up income. If one of the functions is known, then the other can be easily obtained. Thus, we can derive savings curve from consumption curve and consumption curve from savings curve. So let us see how step by step we derive savings curve from consumption curve and consumption curve from savings curve. From this equation y is equal to C plus S, we come to know C is equal to y minus S and S is equal to y minus C. Savings is equal to income minus consumption. Hence, if we come to know the value of one, it is easy to know the other value. Derivation of saving curve from consumption curve. First, let me name the x-axis and y-axis. Income is represented on the x-axis, that is y, and consumption is represented on the y-axis. Consumption C. And this is the origin, point of origin. And this is the extended y-axis, which is in negative. And this is the savings in y-axis. Let us first draw the 45-degree line. This is the 45-degree line, that is y is equal to AS. Any point on this 45-degree line shows that consumption expenditure is equal to income. Now first let us mark the autonomous consumption expenditure. So this is the expenditure at zero level of income. Even at zero level of income, there is a minimum expenditure. We call this as autonomous consumption expenditure, and that is C dash. Now let us draw the consumption curve, which starts from point C. And this is the consumption curve. The point where the consumption curve and the income curve intersects, let us mark this as B1. And this is the break-even point. This point of intersection of Y curve, that is AS curve, and consumption curve, we call this as break-even point. Y is equal to C at this point. Now we have drawn the consumption curve by drawing the Y curve first. Let me read the steps and derive the savings curve from consumption curve. The first step is draw a perpendicular from point B on the consumption curve, intersecting the x-axis on the lower part at point B. So we have to draw a perpendicular line downwards, a straight line down and this is point B. We mark this as point B, and this is also the extended x-axis. When income is equal to consumption expenditure, it means saving is 0. So this extended line, the perpendicular line that we have drawn from B1 and which touches the x-axis at point B, at this point savings is equal to 0. Now let me explain to you the next step. This point B must be on the x-axis because saving is 0. So we have marked point B on the x-axis. Take OS on y-axis of the lower part AS is equal to OC on the y-axis of the upper part. So let us now measure OC. This OC is the autonomous consumption expenditure. You need to take the same measurement of OC and mark here as AS. Autonomous consumption expenditure, OC should be equal to AS. And this is the negative saving. So let us mark it as minus C dash. This gives point S. So we have got now point S, from where the savings curve will start. So this is the starting point of savings curve. Joining points S and B and extending the straight line upwards, we get the savings curve SBN. Let us join these 2 points S and B, and extending it further, we get the savings curve SBN. This is the savings curve. Now let us find out where the saving is in negative and the place where there is saving. Now, before finding out the saving, let us find out the point where APC is equal to 1. The point where income is equal to consumption expenditure, we say that APC is equal to 1 because the entire income is used for consumption expenditure. APS is less than 0 at all levels of income below the OB level of income. So this is the OB level of income, and at this point you can see that APS is less than 0. It means there is negative saving. We call this point below point B as dissaving, and the area above point B or the right hand side area of point B, there is saving. Derivation of consumption curve from saving curve. Let us now first mark the x-axis and y-axis. X-axis and y-axis. Income is represented on the x-axis and consumption on the y-axis. C. And this is the point of origin, and below the point of origin is the negative y-axis where we mark the saving, and this is the point of origin, and this is the starting point of savings curve. Let us mark point B and this is the point where there is zero saving. It means the entire income is spent on consumption, so there is no savings. So let us join these 2 points, that is OS. OS is the negative saving. And let us now join SB. SB, and when we extend this, we can mark this as SBN. This is the savings curve. And this point, saving is 0, and at this point, APS is less than 0. APS is less than 0. And here there is saving. This is the point above B where there is saving. So from the origin, now I am going to draw the 45-degree line. This is the AS curve or Y, income curve. Any point on this 45-degree line indicates that the consumption expenditure and income both are equal. Now let me explain to you the steps in the derivation of consumption curve from saving curve. Draw a 45-degree line from the origin. So this is the first step in the derivation, and I've drawn the 45-degree line from the origin. Take OC equal to OS. So this is OS that I have marked. Measure this area OS and take the same size above this point of origin. Take OC equal to OS. So I have made it, okay, OC is marked on the y-axis. This gives the starting point C of the consumption curve. Let me now extend this. So this is the starting point. Before extending, we have to draw the perpendicular line from point B upwards, intersecting the 45-degree line at B1. So this is the point B, and I have to draw the perpendicular line upward. So let me draw a straight line. And this is the point of intersection. And this is marked as B1. And this is the break-even point. Join points C and B and extend upward to obtain the consumption curve CB1. So join points C and B1, it is B1, and extend upward to obtain the consumption curve CB1. So this is drawn. Consumption curve is now drawn from point C. This is the autonomous consumption, because at zero level of income there is a minimum level of consumption expenditure, and so OC is the autonomous consumption expenditure. Now this B1 is break-even point. And at this point, the income is equal to consumption expenditure. Hence, the saving is 0. When income is equal to consumption expenditure, it means APC is equal to 1. The entire income in the economy is spent on consumption, and so the APS is equal to 1. And this point below the B1, or we can say when it is left side of B1, this is the point where the consumption expenditure is greater than income. This is the consumption line and this is the income line. When consumption is greater than income, it means there is this saving. And here when income is greater than consumption, it means there is saving in the economy. Hope it is very clear how we have derived consumption curve from savings curve. Determination of equilibrium output. Let us first know the assumptions before we start the equilibrium income or output. Equilibrium output is determined in the context of two-sector model. So we assume that the economy has two-sector model. It means out of the four sectors, that is households, firms, government sector, and the fourth one, rest of the world, row. Out of these four sector, we are only going to deal with the household and the firms. So these are the two sector model. Investment expenditure is autonomous. It means it is not affected by Y. It is not affected by income. Price level remains constant. There is no change in the price level. There is stable price level in the economy. Two approaches of income determination. Equilibrium national income implies a situation when AD is equal to AS or when S is equal to I. These are the two approaches of income determination. AD is otherwise C plus I. It means it consists of consumption expenditure and investment. And AS is otherwise C plus S. The income is used for consumption and the remaining is saved. So C plus I is equal to C plus S. Now from ADAS approach, we can derive S is equal to I approach. C plus I is equal to C plus S. C plus I is nothing but AD and C plus S is AS or the income. Now C is the common factor found in both the sides. Let us strike out C. Then we get I is equal to S or S is equal to I. So this is the first approach, AD is equal to AS, and this is the second approach of equilibrium income and employment, S is equal to I. It means savings is equal to investment. Let us understand the ADAS approach using this table. So this tabular column, tabular presentation gives you a clear picture of AD is equal to AS approach. Let us assume that the autonomous consumption expenditure is 40 crores. This is the autonomous investment. Autonomous investment is 40 crores and the MPC is 0.8. 1 minus MPC is MPS and that is 0.2 because 1 minus 0.8 is 0.2 and the autonomous consumption is rupees 40 crores. You can see here at zero level of income the consumption expenditure is 40 crores. So this is autonomous consumption expenditure. Now let us calculate consumption expenditure for the remaining levels of income. When the income is zero, the consumption expenditure is 40 crores. When the income has increased to 100, the consumption expenditure has also increased from 40 to 120. We can calculate this with the consumption expenditure formula. C is equal to C dash plus BY. C dash is autonomous consumption expenditure 40 plus B is 0.8, that is MPC, into income is 100. At this point the income is 100. $40 plus 0.8 into 100 is 80. So 80 plus 40 is 120. So now we have got the consumption expenditure 120. Now when the income has increased from 100 to 200, only thing is we have to change this income from 100 to 200 and you'll get the same 200 as the consumption expenditure. So this is how we derive consumption expenditure. Now savings. Savings, how do we get? It is income minus consumption expenditure. So saving is equal to income minus consumption expenditure. So income is 100. Look here, income is 100 and the consumption expenditure is 120. 100 minus 120 is minus 20. There is a negative saving. The next column, the fourth column, is the autonomous investment, 40 crores. When you compare savings and investment, you can find that only when the income is 400 crores, there is an equilibrium in savings and investment. 40 is equal to 40. It means S is equal to I. Saving is equal to investment. So only at this point of income that the economy is in equilibrium. And then let us look into the fifth column, aggregate demand, AD. AD is the addition of second and fourth column. It means C plus I. It is consumption plus investment. So let us add consumption and investment. 120 plus investment 40, we get 160. As you calculate, you will find here AD is 400 at 400 level of income, and at the same time AS is also 400. AS is nothing but income. So AD is equal to AS, and at this point the first approach, AD is equal to AS approach, the economy is in equilibrium. Same way the second approach is S is equal to I, and at this point of income level, saving is equal to investment, and so the economy is in equilibrium. Whereas at this level, 500 crores of income, you can see that the savings is greater, so it means the economy is not in equilibrium. And here when you compare AD and AS, you can find 500 crores is the income or the output or the aggregate supply, whereas the aggregate demand is 480. As AS is greater than AD, then we say that this is not an equilibrium. Equilibrium national income implies a situation when AD is equal to AS or when S is equal to I. In a two-sector economy, AD consists of consumption expenditure and investment. AD is the function of consumption expenditure and investment. The AD curve intercepts the y-axis above the point of origin at point M. and the consumption expenditure curve starts at point C. It is a straight line rising from left to right. The AS curve shows the total amount of goods and services produced in the economy. It is represented by the 45-degree line from the origin. Investment is treated as autonomous investment. This investment is not related to income. It is a horizontal straight line parallel to the x-axis. The economy is in equilibrium at point E, where the AD curve intersects the 45-degree line, and the equilibrium national income is represented by OY. At the point where S is equal to I, that is at point E, the economy is in equilibrium as S is equal to I. And on the top, economy is in equilibrium as AD is equal to AS. Now, what the producers wish to produce is exactly equal to what the households wish to buy in the economy. All the output planned by the producers is purchased by the households in the economy. At this point, there is no undesired stock with the producers. Up to point E or the left side of point E, AD is greater than AS. You can see AD greater than AS. Beyond point E or right side of point E, AD is less than AS. Here, the economy does not spend the entire income for consumption and investment. Hence, according to the first approach, AD is equal to AS. E is the equilibrium point at OY income. And according to S is equal to I approach, E is the equilibrium point at OY income.